Here we go. Spoiler alert, audience. And good morning, everybody, and welcome to the show. On this beautiful Tuesday, the most productive day of the week, according to 4 out of 5 dentists. I'm Jace, and please, as you're sitting there on your couch or your lazy boy recliner, please put your hands together for my good friend, my sister from another mister, the lovely Kendall. Good morning, Kendall.
Hello.
How you doing?
Is there really anything better than a lazy boy recliner?
Yeah. I mean, my dad had a little green one.
Yeah.
My dad and my papa had an ugly one, and then my dad had a green one, and it was just hideously ugly. And then every time and every time we would change, my mom would change the decor of the house. The recliner stayed, meaning we would never.
You couldn't touch the chair.
We couldn't touch the chair. It was very Archie Bunker-ish.
Yeah.
But it was actually that chair that I sat in the morning I woke up, and I was trying to figure out where to move or what to do with my life. Well, I knew what I was going to do with my life, but it was that chair that I sat in. I woke up, I sat on that lazy boy, and I turned on the TV, and there was a Minnesota tourism commercial.
It was that lazy boy.
It was that lazy boy, and I had remembered a professor of mine had worked in Minneapolis and had always told me it was a good TV market. So that day, I decided at the age of 22, I called a friend and I said, hey, let's go to Minneapolis. And she was, for what? And I go, I'm going to look for an apartment. And that next weekend, I rented a car, drove here, got an apartment, found an apartment in Loring Park, and moved here 3 months later. So yeah.
And the rest is history.
And the rest is history. And here I am drinking coffee with you. How you doing?
I feel good. I feel like there is so much news to talk about today, especially what you just told me like 2 seconds ago.
We do have breaking reality show news. But speaking of reality, before I get to that, this little package here, look at this.
What's that?
Well, we talked about it on the show. Hi, Jill. We talked about Jill Zarin. She was on one of our first shows back after I got back from vacation. She's making these masks. Jill Zarin makes masks, and she does a buy one, donate one. So when you buy one, she donates one to frontline workers.
Okay.
Well, Jill sent me, she asked for my address. She sent me an email. She goes, let me have your address. So I got a nice little handwritten note from Jill. There it is.
Nice.
And then she sent me an example of a couple of her masks. And I'm not just saying this because she's Jill Zarin, but these are real comfortable. They're real.
Nice.
Yeah, they're real. Here, I'll put one on. And they're adjustable. And I really like them. They're real soft. Hello. But they're real soft. I'm sitting here now. They are uber comfortable.
Uber comfortable.
So
like
go to
it.
JillZarin.com and support Jill and the good work that she's doing. Jill and Allie. Hi, Allie. Hey, speaking of the Real Housewives of New York, before we get to what was going to be our first story, just a few minutes ago, Dorinda Medley just announced she's leaving the Real Housewives of New York. This is breaking Jason Show news. That's why I love when we're live.
Yeah.
Well, we're always live. She wrote, let me read this.
Okay.
She goes, what a journey this has been. I have laughed and cried and tried to make it nice, but all things must come to an end. I have met so many interesting people and learned so much about life and women along the way. Thank you to Bravo and NBC for this incredible ride, and to my castmates for constant stimulation and entertainment. I wish you all health, happiness, and success. Clip, Dorinda.
Interesting. There was a lot of interesting things. Thank you for entertaining me. I tried to bring kindness. There was no love lost sounding in that.
Well, also, I don't know if she removed herself or if she was removed, because we told you Andy Cohen has come out and said there's going to be huge changes on New York. Here's the first one. And the way she worded that, I sadly think they got rid of her.
Okay.
I don't think she left voluntarily. Did you notice? She never said the words, I made this decision, or da-da-da-da.
Time to move on.
And if they did remove her, huge mistake. As Julia Roberts said in Pretty Woman, huge, big, I'm going shopping now. Big mistake. Dorinda was one of the best things. You could have gotten rid of everybody else. Kept Leah and Dorinda, and you would have been fine, and Sonia. But yeah.
But that's it.
I don't know.
I always thought that you weren't a huge fan of Dorinda.
I like Dorinda.
Who was the one that you weren't a huge fan of?
Ramona drives me nuts. I go back and forth, but right now she's just not very nice.
Okay.
Well, let's get started, everybody. It is time for the hot dish. Here we go. Well, despite the pandemic, Dancing with the Stars is still happening for the fall, and now we're learning who may be in talks to join the show. Here's a clue.
If it was Carol Baskin.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens, it's Carol at Big Cat Rescue.
Okay. Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. Carole Baskin, everyone, America's favorite tiger lady, is in talks to reportedly be a contestant. Others reported to be under consideration. Chrishell, I know, I'm from Selling Sunset. A.J. McLean from the Backstreet Boys. Anne Heche, America's favorite tourist. One person who declined an invite was Dr. Anthony Fauci. I'm kind of glad he did, because I would imagine Dr. Fauci's a little busy. It would have been very weird if he popped up on Dancing with the Stars after.
And then he'd have to quarantine.
Briefing? Yeah, it would be a little weird. But what do you think of Carole Baskin?
Okay, you know how I feel about Tiger King.
I know.
The whole thing. So I'm like, yes, sure, let's give someone more attention.
Yeah, I got to tell you.
Are you excited?
I am.
You're so excited.
Just for the nutter butterness of this.
It's true.
This is going to be so wonderful to watch. It's like when Kate Gosselin was on there. I wasn't a huge Kate fan, but I wanted to see, A, was it going to be a train wreck? Mm-hmm. B, was she still going to have that hairstyle that resembled a turkey butt? 3, are we going to see all of her kids? I feel basically the same way about Carole Baskin.
I wonder if she'll be a good dancer.
No. I predict right now, I don't want to stomp on anybody's rainbow, but I do not think, I'm just making a prediction, I do not think she'll be a good dancer.
Bold prediction.
I hope I'm off base. I hope she does very well, because I would like to see her go all the way. Next in the dish, we're learning who the newest host of The Real will be, following the departure of Tamara Mowry Housley. Three names. I love good three-named people.
Trip name.
According to Variety, Garcelle Bouvet will be the new host for the new season. She became the first black cast member on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills this season. She was also, of course, on the Jamie Foxx show, NYPD Blue, and a lot of others. She's going to join Lonnie Love, Jeannie, and Adrian when the show's 7th season debuts on September 21st. Great move. I love Garcelle. I loved Garcelle before Housewives of Beverly Hills. She's one of my favorite new housewives. I met her when we did publicity for the national launch of this show. I had the chance to go on her old show, Hollywood Today Live, with Ross Matthews.
Okay.
She was lovely.
Really?
Yeah. Ross was like that day, I don't think was in a great mood. I remember walk away thinking, oh, okay. The person that I thought I was going to walk away being excited about wasn't the person. The person I was excited about was Garcelle. She was lovely.
Well, I wonder, do you think, having met her and having watched Real Housewives, she'll bring that same energy as Tamara, or will it be different and same?
Oh, yeah. Okay. She doesn't care. She will say what she feels.
Okay.
And she has a great life story. She has 2 beautiful boys. She's a great mom. She's a great girlfriend. She's a businesswoman. She owns a production company now. She's
beautiful.
Gonna bring beautiful. She's going to bring a lot. She's going to bring a lot to The Real. Such a good move. If I were them, I don't know if they do that kind of format. I would make her the moderator, but I don't think they have an official moderator like
the
Talk
that
or
would
The
like
View.
stir the pot a little bit too, though.
Exactly.
Bring that new girl in.
Well, that's what you want, girl. That's what you want.
That's true.
Yeah, congratulations to Garcelle. Next in the dish, Ellen Pompeo had something to prove. That's what she said in a recent interview about why she stayed on Grey's Anatomy after Patrick Dempsey left. Now, if you remember, he left in 2015, and she could have followed, but she said she didn't want the story to be, quote, she left because the man did. So she decided to stay and prove she could carry the show without Dempsey. She said she felt no one at the show thought she could do it, so she wanted to prove him wrong. And she did. Ellen makes $575,000 an episode. Way to go, girl. Way to go.
Can you imagine signing that contract?
No, I really can't.
Like,
Yeah,
truly, get out.
I really can't. But
I mean, that is just nuts kind of money too. But good for her.
She deserves it. The show is called Grey's Anatomy.
Right.
I mean, and how presumptuous to think that people that people are only tuning in because of McDreamy.
No.
You know, shows have gone through transitions before when even their major stars have left. Cheers, Shelley Long left. That show was firing on all pistons. Shelley Long left to start a movie career. And then they recreated that show. Basically, they revamped it with Kirstie Alley. And the show went on to be, I would argue, even more successful for the remaining seasons. It stayed on until 1993. So
I didn't realize it was on that long. Wow.
Yeah, 82. Cheers was on 1982 till 1993. Oh. That was when the last episode ended.
Got that in that nugget.
I know, it's so frightening. Again, I can't tell you where Bangladesh is on a map, but I can tell you how long Cheers ran and what time slot it had.
What time slot did it have?
Thursdays at 8. 8 Central and Mountain. But no, I mean it's they can survive this. Or the show obviously survived, and way to go.
For real. I admittedly stopped watching the show when Christina Yang was donezo and she moved on supposedly. But for me, because I just loved her so much, I don't think I would have stopped watching just because of Patrick Dempsey. Because I mean, Ellen Pompeo, she did carry the show. So.
Well, and they really didn't get along. That was Are you
sure? I feel like.
Oh no, they did not get along. No, they did not. Maybe at the beginning they did, but toward the end, she was very open. They did not. That chemistry was all, the camera caught the chemistry, but they did not get along at all. Well, I'll go back. I mean, the rumors were for a while, Ted Danson and Shelley Long didn't get along. But their chemistry, somehow the camera well, you and I, we really hate each other, but for some reason it works every day.
It just works this way.
It does, I mean. Just kidding.
Love and hate,
just
so
kidding.
close.
Yeah, just kidding. Now, Alexis and I'm just joking. It's all a joke. It's all a joke. Still ahead, everybody. Yeah. Still ahead, David Spade stepped in for Jimmy Kimmel, making his return to late night. Plus, Bill and Ted are back. Yeah, I'm not kidding. We're chatting with one half of Bill and Ted about their new movie that debuts a little bit later this week. And then, she was a producer for Letterman and co-created The Daily Show. She hasn't really done a lot. Madeline Smithberg is following her real passion, though, cooking. We'll chat with her a little bit later. I'm so excited for this conversation. Get another cup of coffee, everybody. We'll be back right after these messages.
Exciting announcement. We've gotten you a brand new desk. So this is a special desk. This is a grilling desk, and it's a hibachi style.
Shut up.
Yeah, grilling desk.
Yeah. Are you serious? If you flip the lid up, there's a grill on there. Again, we can't take you out for your birthday. This way, it's your birthday. You can cook for us. So
no way.
There's a grill there. There's some oil and there's some soy sauce below it.
But I think I'm making egg fried rice.
You just
I've been to a restaurant, Rob. It doesn't mean I know how to cook it.
None of them know.
Oh, this is good.
None of them know how to do it. You just got to be confident, ask people where they're from, and then throw food at them. That's the whole thing.
Oh, really?
James Corden celebrating a birthday with a brand new hibachi desk. That's right.
We should get you one of those.
Hashtag Benihana. I would love that. There is nothing you want to see me happy.
Yeah.
Put me in front of the hibachi at Benihana and just get a bowl of the yum yum sauce.
Yes. Oh, with the fried rice.
And I don't even want to know. Someone tried telling me I don't even want to know the calorie count of that sauce.
Nobody.
But I dip everything in that.
Extra.
I always forget the other stuff that you
whatever that other sauce is.
That other sauce, I don't want it. It's just taking up space.
Yeah.
Just give me the yum yum sauce.
Oh, I love when they flip the things like the shrimp onto their hat.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
I don't even care about that. I just want to give me the food. I don't care how you cook it. More late night. David Spade was a fill-in host for Kimmel last night. Kimmel's taking the whole summer off. And of course he poked fun at the pandemic. Look.
The rich and famous are still throwing parties in the Hamptons, of course. And the new thing is to pay for everyone to get a rapid COVID test at the door. It's a tough decision for these people. It's like they're saying themselves, all right, on the one hand, I know these tests are needed for healthcare workers, nursing homes, other critically important uses. But on the other hand, I'm rich and I don't care about anyone or anything. These fast tests sound like a made-up way for rich people to turn people away from their party. Oh no, Billy Joel's here. Boop. Oh, this thing says you're positive. Can someone drive Piano Man home? Ooh, 107. Yeah, better step on it.
David's late night show on Comedy Central was sadly canceled earlier this year. I loved that show. Because
I know you did. You really liked it.
I loved it. I thought, Spade is so funny. He was producer Jeff and I were just laughing. They did a repeat of Stern last night or yesterday. And it was Stern's latest interview with David Spade. Mm-hmm. And he told the story. David Spade dated Laura Flynn Boyle. Do you know who she is, Kendall? From The Practice. She was on Twin Peaks.
The name is very familiar.
Yeah, you would know her if you saw her. So Laura Flynn Boyle and David dated, and they went to an event where Laura met Jack Nicholson. And literally the next day, the tabloids caught Laura Flynn Boyle in a car with Jack Nicholson, and there was an accident. And Laura is climbing out of the window screaming, "I have a boyfriend, I can't be seen here." And the tabloid called David Spade to get his reaction of how he felt having his girlfriend be seen with Jack Nicholson. And he's like, it's funny, I guess.
I guess.
So yeah, then they broke up shortly
after that.
Because they met and Jack was openly flirting with Laura. I think it was at a party. It was at a party, yeah. Openly flirting with her in front of David. Jack didn't care. Nicholson doesn't care.
Well, I was going to say, wasn't he kind of known to be sort of flirty like that?
It's Jack Nicholson. He didn't give a rat's rear. So, and then he took him, and then Jack and Laura dated for a while, and now no one's seen her. She's disappeared.
She gone, girl.
Yeah. There's a new movie coming to theaters and on demand later this week. And it's a new take on a cult classic. Here's a clip from Bill and Ted Face the Music.
Greetings, my excellent friends.
Do we know you?
I'm Kelly.
Wait, you're Rufus's daughter.
I am, and I've been wanting to meet you my whole life.
It must be very disappointing.
Not at all. We have a problem, gentlemen. Potentially a very serious problem.
About the music?
About the music. They just want to talk to you.
Dude, I got a very bad feeling about this.
It'll be fine, Ted. They totally love us in the future, dude.
We actually do love them in the future. That's Bill and Ted Face the Music. It's in theaters, guys, and on demand this weekend, and it stars the original Bill and Ted, Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter. Joining us now, Alex Winter, who plays Bill, and William Sadler, who, of course, plays the Grim Reaper. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Alex, when this is your third time around with the role. When you what was it about the story pitch? What was it about the plot or the actual script that made you say, you know what, it's time to bring these guys back?
You know, the story was pitched to Keanu and myself over dinner quite informally about 10 years ago, and none of us had expected to make a third or had given thought to there needing to be a third, frankly. But we loved the idea, and it was playable, and it was funny, and it had heart. This notion that you find Bill and Ted as adults, not like cardboard cutouts of their old selves, but really like husbands and fathers and kind of struggling a little bit. And it felt like a great place to start on an adventure.
William, did you ever think you would be the Grim Reaper again, or did you think that chapter of your life was behind you?
I wasn't at all thinking I was going to ever play this role again. I mean, I thought after Bogus Journey, maybe there'd be a spin-off called, Reaper Madness or something. But after the first decade, and then the second decade, and then almost the third decade, and I thought, nah, this isn't going to happen. So I was delighted. I was surprised and very pleased because I had almost forgotten how much fun he was to play.
Alex, you kind of told us where Bill and Ted
I've played a lot of characters, but I don't know
in their life. But what's happening to them? We know where they are. We know who they are right now, husbands but what's happening that propels the plot this time?
Well, I mean, in very basic terms, it's kind of like the garage band that maybe should have broken up 10 or 15 or even 20 years ago and just hasn't. And right about the time we're going to put our guitars down, we get visited by someone from the future who tells us that if we don't write the song that will save the universe within about the next 60, 70 minutes, then all of space-time is going to end. And so the thing that we have spent the last 25 years not doing, we now have very little time to actually pull off. So we abscond with our original phone booth in an attempt to find where in space-time we actually weren't losers. Therein lies the journey and the
Alex,
That's the
I don't think
best
the PR.
description
I was
I've
gonna,
ever heard.
William, I was gonna say the same thing. Alex, I don't think the PR department at the studio could have crafted a better description than you just did.
Genius. That was brilliant.
Yeah. Well, TV Guide can borrow that if they want, but I don't know if it'll send audiences to the theaters.
No. Well, I love it, guys. This is exactly what we need. We need this type of escape right now. So thanks, man. Thanks to both of you, Alex and William. Bill and Ted Face the Music hits theaters and on demand this weekend. So you don't have to actually even leave your house. It'll be on demand. Thanks, guys. No, seriously, This is what we need. We were talking about shows that are dealing with the pandemic, like Grey's Anatomy is going to tackle. I don't want that. We need some escapism right now, don't we?
Some goofy stuff that kind of brings us back to better times.
Yeah, better times. We started watching. I call them pacer shows. We started going back and rewatching Downton Abbey. Yeah,
yes.
From the beginning, just because it's the show takes place in a simple time. When I watched it originally, it was a simpler time. It just makes me, it's like a warm blanket. I think we're all kind of craving stuff like that.
I watched the same show. I watched all of it, though, this summer.
Oh, yep. It's so good. Maggie Smith, one of the best. More hot dish. If you've been, now, you're going to think to yourself, oh, yeah. Listen to this next story. If you've been wanting to pump iron at your home lately, and my goodness, who hasn't? I love how Ted wrote that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've been wanting to pump iron, you may have actually run into a little trouble. There's a dumbbell shortage. Something I never thought I would say on the Jason Show. Insiders, this is true, everyone. Insiders say there's a huge demand and a broken supply chain that have caused the problem. Icon Health and Fitness told Vox.com that sales jumped 200% in March, 400% in April, and 600% in May. Waits on Amazon for a new set of dumbbells can be months. Other items that are also in short supply, Nintendo Switches, hello Animal Crossing, yeast, and bidets.
Bidets, because toilet paper ran out?
Yeah, that is just, well, it's practical, but I ran into this. This is no joke. I read the story and I went, yeah, in March, when everything closed down, I was like, okay, I do a few weights just to, as I'm getting older, and we couldn't go to the gym. My gym in my building closed down, so I tried to buy weights. Couldn't find them anywhere. And I thought, what is going on? A Jason Show viewer heard me on the radio talking about it. I went to her house and got her son's weights. The son has moved away. So to that lady, she was very nice. But we couldn't find them for months.
No.
Then our gym reopened in our building, and I'm calling out one of my neighbors. Our gym reopened in our building, and all tenants were taking the free weights from our and I'm thinking to myself, I didn't know that was an option. So Amanda, our leader, what is it called for the association manager?
I don't know.
She had to send out an email. Whoever took the dumbbells needs to return them.
Stop.
So everybody, they returned all of them except we're still missing the 40-pounders. The 40-pound.
Always the 15-pounders at the gym, but
still missing. So if you're my neighbor and you have that 40-pound dumbbell, we sure would like you to return it, you thief. Yeah, but
it's true. My friend works for an exercise equipment company. I asked her forever ago, get me a spin bike for at home for the same reasons, and she was like, "Girl, I can't. Like, I'm trying. It's been months." She's like, "I don't have any."
Pelotons have also been. I've been thinking about getting one. If you all have one, let me know what you think. Fallon, our good friend from KDWB, loves hers.
No.
Oh.
They're like $3,000 for a bike.
Oh, they are? Oh, no.
Yeah.
No. Because if I get that, producer Jeff, I sure wish I could get a Peloton. Sure wish I could get a Burberry scarf and a Peloton. I'll get that.
Yes.
The control room is laughing right. Ted is laughing right about now to that. But no, Fallon from KDWB loves hers.
I know
obsessed.
people love it.
I don't know if I want someone screaming at me on a screen though while I'm on a bike. You know what I mean? Like our producer Lori Fisher, she does a spin class.
Oh, I love her spin class. I do take her spin class.
Yeah, she's mean, but I just 4 more, 3 more, Matheson. Still ahead. Her mom watches the show. Still ahead. Lori's mean. She knows a thing or two about putting on a TV show. We're talking with Madeline Smithberg when we come back. Stay with us, everyone. 4 more. Keep moving, Matheson. Move that puffy butt. Oh, we have fun around here, don't we, guys? Well, Our next guest has quite the resume. She was a producer on The Late Show with David Letterman, co-creator of The Daily Show, and helped discover Jon Stewart, Stephen Colbert, and Steve Carell, just to name a few. But her true passion is cooking. Please welcome to our show, I'm so excited, Madeline Smithberg. Hi, Madeline.
Hi, Jason.
Okay, I don't know if the producers warned you, but I'm such a TV geek that I've looked forward to this interview. I couldn't wait. I woke up this morning and I thought Madeline Smithberg. I'm not joking. That was my first thought this morning.
That was my first thought too, but it was a little bit
Well, we're going to get cooking.
Who am I?
We're going to get cooking a little bit later, but I always say, Madeline, I had several North Stars for broadcasting. I had Johnny, and I had Dave, and I had Oprah and Stern. When I say Letterman to you, I'm sure you have a blender full of memories, but what usually floats to the top? What's one of the first things you think about when you think of your years with Dave?
First of all, when I think of my years with Dave, I break out into a gigantic smile. I was there for 6 years, 86 to 92. It was actually at late night. Letterman at NBC. And I call it my graduate school because it was like boot camp for TV production. I always used to say that the clocks in Greenwich, where they do the mean time, are set by when Dave loads his audience. Everything is perfect, but I love Dave. I loved every second. It was a weird time in my life where it was just the perfect job for me. And it was tough because mistakes were not accepted, but it was also very loving. And Dave and I had a great relationship. And for me, I'm like you. I saw the show and I didn't have the reaction you would have to entertainment. For me, it was a calling.
Yeah.
I saw Late Night and I thought I must be a part of this. And I made it happen, and it took 2 years, and it was just phenomenal.
I feel very much the same way. And, what I think it was lost on the younger generation is, and Dave doesn't like compliments, as you know, but you guys, and you're included, because I feel very lucky to talk to you, you guys really did change Late Night, because people forget, Johnny created that format, the band, the monologue. You come, you sit down, and Johnny had a very specific type of guest. But you guys kind of flipped it. You introduced irony. You introduced, now everybody talks to their crew, but you guys started that. Did you know you were changing the format? Did you know you were flipping it upside down?
Yeah, I think that more than flipping it upside down was we consciously took it apart and then twisted every single element just a tiny bit. So it was almost like a constructed late night talk show. And then obviously it was a comedy show through and through, and happened to be a talk show because Dave didn't really love talking to famous people. He loved doing the comedy, and then he loved what I did. I was the human interest booker and producer, so I had to scour the United States of America and occasionally Canada and England for people who had comedic potential but did not know it without the internet. I read 35 local papers a day. I scouted state fairs and little tiny fairs like the Gourd Festival. And he loved my segments because it was the only part of the show where he was actually off book. He didn't want to be prepped. He didn't rehearse. It was just, you saw the magic of Dave in the moment, and it never ceased to just impress me. And the guy was genius. He is genius.
He is genius. And you didn't stop there. The Daily Show. I mean, Madeline, we could just go to the first part of your resume, and that would be fantastic. But then The Daily Show. I mean,
well, I was kind of recruited by Comedy Central to create a daily show, a job that I turned down for about 9 months, and then finally just gave in out of just exhaustion. Doug Herzog just kept on hammering me to do it. And I didn't want to. I'd been in, strip television with Letterman, and then we did the Jon Stewart show on MTV, and I wanted to have a family. I was like Kellyanne Conway. I didn't want to be on a strip show. But I got coerced, and the rest, as they say, is history. And Yeah, that was an amazing ride as well. Very lucky girl.
Well, yeah, and then now there's another chapter, because all of you watching, if you're wondering why Madeline is standing there in the kitchen with a whole bunch of food, she has another skill, another thing she's fantastic with, and when we come back, you're going to discover that right after this. Stay with us, everyone. We're back with one. Oh, I'm loving this. I told our producer I can talk to Madeline for 47 minutes here. Madeline Smithberg, who runs the cooking blog Mad in the Kitchen, and Madeline's been nice enough to stick with us a little bit longer. A little bit later, you're going to find out the story of the magician, Madeline, and a fire. A little bit later.
I love it.
I can't. Okay, so cooking, Madeline. I mean, were you always interested in this?
Yeah, it's something that started when I was 12 years old. My parents took me to Europe and I ate something in France that just literally changed my life forever. And from that moment on, I wake up every morning obsessing about what I'm going to cook that day, which is terrible for me, but great for everyone around me. And I moved to Seattle, where I am right now, 3 years ago, to be with the love of my life. And there's not a lot of TV here. So I somehow segued into being a chef, teaching corporate team building events. And it was awesome. And then when the pandemic struck, I turned on my phone and just started shooting myself cooking. But there was kind of a great irony, because I produced all the cooking segments on Letterman, and now I produce me.
Oh, Madeline, Madeline, can I tell you, right before we came to you, you're going to love this. Right before you came to me, or we went to you, my producer Ted said, get ready. This is the best produced Zoom interview we will ever do in the history of our show. And I said, well, what do you expect? She's a producer.
It's hilarious. It's almost like some sort of divine retribution, because now I have to give myself notes and plan my beginning, middle, and end. It's kind of revenge. So today I'm making something super simple and super delicious. It's summer. What do we have an abundance of besides zucchini, which I cannot grow? We'll get to that another time. We have stone fruits. We have tomatoes. This is my first tomato from my garden.
Look at that, Madeline.
I suck at gardening. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a caprese, which is mozzarella. It's a fresh mozzarella with tomato, basil, and stone fruits. It's so delicious. It's just a simple twist, and it makes it so much better. Now, if I were cooking for people, I would wear gloves.
Yeah.
But I'm not. So I'm going to use my hands, and you're not going to give me any crap. So I've laid out a bed of tomatoes, which is not very comfortable, but it is delicious. Okay. And I'm just going to slap some mozzarella on there in a pretty pattern, because food is also better when it's visually appealing, except in the case of a hot dog. That we don't really care what it looks like. And then I've got my stone fruits. And what I have here is a white nectarine, a plum, and something called a cherry plum. And then I've got some cherries. You know, we're really excited about our cherries here in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
Probably because we don't have theater. But I guess nobody has theater right now. So now I'm laying some of my...
Madeline, did you just say that cherries are a theater replacement?
It is. You gotta go. You know, you milk your assets. Just sort of, you play to your strengths. That's what we do. So I'm just doing a mix of all the different stone fruits. And if this were on my YouTube channel, Mad in the Kitchen, I would shoot it, and then Sky Gleason, who set up my switcher here, would speed it up in post. But we don't have that option, so I'm just trying to move really quickly and still have it be beautiful. Now I put my cherries on there, and I'm going to add my basil. I just plop the basil on, which is very nice. And then little olive oil, extra virgin. I like unfiltered.
Yeah.
That's about it. A little salt, not too much, but enough to counteract the sweetness of the stone fruit. And then this is one of my secret ingredients. It's a balsamic reduction or glaze.
Yeah.
And it's really good and sweet. And you just do a little of that. And
Madeline, that looks
voila!
that looks real good, Madeline.
It's amazing. Toast up a little focaccia, and you have yourself a perfect summer, either lunch or even dinner.
Well, I'm loving life right now. I'm having more fun than I've had in weeks. Madeline is not going anywhere, but if you want to see more of her in the kitchen, and I know you do, madinthekitchen.com is the address. She's staying there. You're staying there. When we come back, the magician, the fire, and Dave next. Welcome back, everyone. More with Madeline. Again, madinthekitchen.com. Go on it right now and support Madeline. Okay, we have to go back to a story. You could write an encyclopedia of great stories from Dave. Tell me about the magician.
Okay. You know, I've had a long career with a lot of highlights and lowlights, and this is one where they actually both converged in one moment. I used to book and produce the segments with Kmar, the magician, who we called Kmar the discount magician. And if you were to write a bad magician character into a broad comedy, you couldn't do it as well as Kmar did it for himself. The guy was very sweet, but a mess. And everything was always a little bit off. He made terrible mistakes. And Dave was hilarious with him, mainly because he really did not like the guy. And that was kind of amusing to all of us. So he comes on and he's doing a trick that's called Kmar incinerates David Letterman. And maybe that should have been a tip-off to all of us. But he comes for rehearsal. And as I said, Dave is not there. And he does the trick, and it's kind of like this can goes over Dave's head, and then he lights it on fire. And you saw it was like birthday candles were coming out of the top. So my boss, who was Robert Morton, who we called Morty, who's a very good friend of mine, but he was very mean at times, came to me and he said, "This is awful. This is nothing." And then he said to Kmar, "This sucks. You got to make it bigger. You got to make it bigger. This is like stupid." So Kmar took those words to heart, and before the actual performance on the show, he put an entire bottle of lighter fluid and about 4 packages of flash paper into the can. First of all, the prop was measured wrong, and Dave had to kneel and carry a table on his shoulders, and so it was awkward, to say the least. So now it comes to the part, he puts it down, and now I will incinerate David Letterman, and he lights it, and the thing shoots up about 3 feet, and there's just flame coming everywhere. So now Kmar panics, and he's got to put it out. So he starts tamping on it, but his sleeve catches on fire.
Oh, no.
So he rolls up his sleeve, and he's still tamping it, and I'm sitting back off the side in the production area, and I'm thinking, oh my God, my segment is going to disfigure our meal ticket. Like, everybody's going to be really unhappy with me. Of course, I made it about myself. So Kmar keeps tamping it down, and now the hair on his arm is singeing, and Dave would later say he would smell that. Finally, the stagehands come out. They take, fire extinguishers. They put it out. Dave takes the thing off. He's furious. Kmar is banned from the show until 6 weeks later.
Oh, no.
When a guest falls out and we need him to come back.
And he came. You rebooked him?
Oh, yeah. We rebooked him. And Dave was saying it was the scariest feeling because it was like, who's the last person in the world you want in charge of this situation? And it would be Kmar, who's known as being just an incredible screw up. And just the image, if you watch it, it's not that long. But for me, It was an eternity. And I still have nightmares, and then I wake up laughing.
Oh, Madeline.
Because once you knew it was okay, it was the funniest thing that had ever happened, because it really crossed the line of unpredictable. And my entire job there was to walk that line.
Yeah. Madeline, who found Larry Bud Melman?
Meryl Marco. Meryl Marco was the original head writer, invented stupid pet tricks and stupid human tricks, and she saw him in an NYU student film and just decided she wanted him to be our mascot. Meryl's really brilliant, and the thing that was great about Calvert, DeForest, Larry Bud Melman was never in on the joke.
Never.
Like, never. He was there for how many years? Never got a joke. And so Dave decided that he wanted to use him almost like a punching bag, and they would try to send him to more and more uncomfortable things. So they sent him to Tierra del Fuego. And I don't really know what the purpose was, but it was just to sort of get him as far away, like, geographically possible. And the last stretch of road, he was on local buses, and it was almost sad because we'd go live to him and he would just go, "Dave, can I please come home?" It was like talking to your kid at camp.
Madeline, my favorite still, if I'm in a bad mood and I get into a YouTube vortex, is when he's at the Statue of Liberty welcoming new citizens, and he pulls the microphone away. He starts talking, and he's still talking, and he pulls the microphone away. Probably one of the best moments in late night, period.
Ever. And that is the same with Kmart. Like, if you were to send a comedian out and say, do a bit with the mic, it would come out as forced. But that was genuinely where his mind and body were taking him. And it was just, I mean, that clip ended up on every anniversary show with Kmart being cremated. And the one I'll tell you about next time, if you have me back, which is Border Collies herding sheep.
Oh, please. I was just going to say, will you please come back? I really mean that. Will you please come back on the show?
I will come back anytime, and when it's safe to fly, I'll come in person.
Oh, please. That would mean so much to me. I thank you for
Jason, I would love it.
Yeah, thank you for staying. I really appreciate it. Madeline stayed longer than we scheduled her, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. madinthekitchen.com, everyone. Go check out her website. Oh, that made me, I'm a happy boy right now. Stay right there. We're going to wrap things up when we come back. Back in a moment. Oh, that was good. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for being here. Don't forget, follow us on social media. You can stay connected with us. On Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, the address is easy, just Jason Show TV on all of those. And good news, today we had the big return of the Jason Show Before the Show. We bring you inside our pre-show meeting and all of the hilarity that ensues. So you can see that, we try to be hilarious. You can see that on our Facebook page, and we begin at around 9:05-ish on the Jason Show Facebook page. We're going to take a break. We'll be back right after this. Stay with us. Right? We try to be funny. A little bit. Welcome back, everybody, to the socially distanced Jason Show. I have not stopped smiling since that interview. Because if you've watched the show, you know I love late night. I love Dave.
You love Dave.
I love Letterman.
Specifically.
I love Carson, and I love Dave. And I was a weird kid, and I watched all of them. I would watch Johnny, and then my parents never knew it. I stayed up too late. I would watch Dave, and two very different hosts. Two very different gentlemen, but they were both broadcasters, and I try to take a little bit from both of them. You know, kind of the grace and of Johnny and the sarcasm of Dave, and so to talk to her, it's like a 1 degree of separation. I was in my glory. I could have talked to her for a year. I mean, just the stories.
She was a weaver.
Just the amount of stories, and she was there at late night at such a special time. I mean, I love the Late Show, the CBS years, but late night, I mean, you know, stupid human tricks and stupid pet tricks, and Dave with Velcro, and then dipping himself in it with Alka-Seltzer in It's just, yeah, great moments. Well, she's going to be back on the show. Tomorrow, though, meet the St. Paul native with a starring role in the new Mulan live-action movie from Disney. Plus, we're celebrating National Dog Day. That's right. That's going to do it for us. If you're watching and you're a kid that's being bullied, you go out there and be yourself because nobody can tell you you're doing it wrong. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.